Hello, gents. Say, why don't you come back with me to a simpler time? A time when video games were just getting started and they were pretty rudimentary. I'm talking about the 80s. And incidentally, I have a modest collection of 80s artifacts. Maybe someday I'll make a video and show those off to you, but for today I'm just focusing on the board games from that era. Now, unless you were one of the cool kids who had an Atari back then, when you were bored, you played board games. Get it? So, I'm going to talk about 4 of these today briefly. The first one, Sorry. Now, Sorry's been around forever. I think it started around the 30s. This particular game itself is actually haunted. I got this Sorry game out of a actual haunted house. It was left in there, and I found it in there. And you know, every time I play it, something bizarre happens. In fact, when we were playing it here, just across the room, the curtains just above the vent, they started flapping around a little bit. And then they would stop, and then later on they started flapping around again. It was super weird. Now, I understand that there is a modern version of Sorry now that has different rules or something and different things you can do. I am not familiar with it at all. I've never played new Sorry, nor do I ever intend to find out about any of that crap. For me, I think they got it right the first time. So that's my look at Sorry. Next up, we have this game from 1982, Survive. I love this game, and it was a staple of my childhood. Such a great game by the Parker brothers. In this game, you are playing on an island that is diminishing in size. And you're trying to save your people. You're trying to get them off of the island and to the safety of some surrounding islands before the island that you're on explodes when a big volcano erupts. Along the way, you're fighting against your opponents. You can form alliances with them and you can help each other out. Or you can really trash them as you go. You're trying to avoid sharks, whales, sea serpents. It's a really exciting game. And it's nerve-wracking at times. I wish that families everywhere could enjoy this game. Now, there is a newer version called Survive, Escape from Atlantis or something. Never played it. I guess I'd be open to trying that one out. But this is one that I really recommend that you take to eBay and find and play if you've never had the pleasure. The next game I want to show you is Rako. Now, this is the 1987 edition, but this game's been around forever. I think it began in the 50s. They still make it today. Although the new version, again, they've made a lot of enhancements to. In the new version, there's extra cards and stuff. But this game is from a time when people didn't need all kinds of extra features. They didn't need all these frills. They didn't need extra fun. This is just a basic game, but it's really fun. You're just trying to get your cards in numerical order the first. And if you've never played it before, I do recommend Rako. You may not be able to find this old bare bones version, but even the new version is pretty good too. When I was a little kid, we played Rako all the time at my grandparents' house. And my cousin, with his speech impediment, he would always say, "Hey, let's go play Wacko." And I still remember that. I thought it was funny then. I think it's funny now. Shout out to you, David. Now, the last game that I want to talk about here is Pathfinder. This is maybe my favorite of the bunch. It's close call between this and Survive. Now, Pathfinder plays a little bit like Battleship, but with more strategy and a lot more fun. The first thing you do is you set up a maze on your board and you hide your pawn in there. And then you take turns blindly moving through your opponent's maze, and you track your moves as you go, and you track your opponent's moves on your secondary board as he goes. You go around bumbling, running into walls, but you start building and getting an idea of your opponent's maze as you go. And it's all about who can make the trickiest maze and who can navigate a tricky maze the best. This is another one that I highly recommend that you take to eBay and buy. Now, Battleship was made by Milton Bradley back in 1967, and before that, it was a pencil and paper game, and it had been for decades. Pathfinder came out in 1972, and I must say it is an improvement. If you like Battleship, you're going to like this a lot more. If you think Battleship is kind of boring like I do, then you'll also like this a lot more. This is a really good game. I highly recommend you seek it out and give it a try. So what were the board games of your childhood? What ones do you think of when you think back to when you were a kid? I mean, even if your childhood was way before my childhood or way after my childhood, let me know in the comments which board games were your favorite back then. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon, gents.
Everybody's a winner. No one's a loser.
No, that's actually wrong. In life, there are winners.
See you later, gents. Everybody's a winner.
That's actually wrong. In life, there are winners and losers.
No.
There's no everyone is a winner. That's bullcrap.